We say that we only want what our grandfathers had. But we do so while lying on the couch. What do you say? Couch? Sofa? It is also true, though, that some of us are genuinely willing to stand, fight, and die for what is right. The question is, how do we go about it? The slide behind me shows the monument built to commemorate the Battle of Blood River on 16th December 1838, in which 464 Boer men defeated an overwhelming Zulu force. What almost all of the records disgorged by the academic elite and fed down the throats of our children fail to mention is that it is well recorded by English missionaries, indisputably recorded, that the Zulu order of battle was 40 amabuto, which is 4 times 10 regiments, 40 regiments of 900 men each. 36,000 men, many of whom armed with firearms that they bought from Irish traders, interestingly, against 464. The books will tell you that 2,000-3,000 maybe died. But no eyewitness, I'm not talking about revisionist sociologists from these perverse universities, record no less than 11,000 dead on the Zulu side. The Boers suffered one casualty, a cut to the forearm, a diagonal cut to the forearm of the leader. No deaths, no other injuries recorded at all. This is your people. This is your blood. This is your gene pool. We are capable, if we will but arise and act in unison, of achievements that no other people can dream of. But we have to get off the couch and act in unison. On 19th March 2017, a dispute broke out at a branch of a very famous restaurant chain in South Africa called Spur Steakhouses. A dispute broke out between a white man and a black woman. I won't go into the nitty-gritty of the thing, but to cut a long story short, the black woman's older son grabbed the arm of the white man's younger daughter, yanked her arm, and then backhanded her. I'm getting my arms all mixed up. Grabbed her like that and backhanded her. And witnesses saw it. But at the time, Spur Steak Ranch, it became a big dispute, shouting, arguing. The black woman told the white guy to F off. He approached her very politely about it. But the restaurant chain, the head office, the corporation, took the side of the black woman. New South African Rainbow Nation, in this utopia, we don't tolerate racism. You know how it goes. When it emerged what had really happened, when eyewitnesses and photographs and videos and what have you revealed what had really happened, in light of now the intervening response by the Spur Steak Ranchers, conservatives were enraged. But the Spur Corporation remained unrepentant. Under no circumstances was it going to take any side except the side of the black woman on the basis of racism, that this incident must be racist, that the white man would come and say, hey, look, your big son just gave my 4-year-old daughter a backhander. So the conservative whites did something unprecedented. They began to boycott Spur, which was hitherto the favorite family restaurant of conservative middle-class people in South Africa. Nothing to compare to it. To cut a long story short, because of the reduced demand for potatoes by Spur, because they're serving less meals, because their core target market is boycotting them, selling fewer steaks and French fries. The price of potatoes in South Africa today is lower than it was 4 years ago. This is a country that has consistently a 7% inflation rate. Now, to give you a sense of perspective, we're about 56 million South Africans, of which whites are about 4.7 million. We're loosely speaking 8.5%. Of that 8.5%, easily 60% are not conservative. They're liberal. They've been brainwashed by the new South African Rainbow Nation rhetoric, Nelson Mandela, what a dashing smile, etc., etc. You know the story. In other words, something like 2 million people brought a restaurant chain to its knees. To this day, you can drive the length and breadth of South Africa and see many Spur restaurants boarded up, bankrupt, couldn't make it. 4%. 4%! Finally, amongst the series of examples, here are photographs of an event organized at 4 days' notice, which brought South Africa to a standstill. The Black Monday of the 30th of October 2017. It was a protest against farm murders, organized at 4 days' notice. The first announcement went out on a Thursday, and the event happened on Black Monday, the 30th of October. Monday, the 30th of October. It was so effective that our Minister of Defense warned on television on the Thursday, on television, that if whites did such a thing again, it would cause a civil war, and that we whites would bring a genocide upon ourselves. We shut down the country by finally, us, we, white South Africans, who've put up with so much unbelievable nonsense for so long, we arose and we acted in concert for what was right. And in one fell swoop, our government was led to talking about civil war. This is the power of concerted action. Arise now. The simple reality is that our people, have been changing the world in minuscule numbers for thousands of years, while other cultures had not yet adopted the wheel. We were building the architectural masterpieces of the flying buttresses of Chartres Cathedral. Something exponentially, for those of you who understand architecture or history, the history of architecture, hear me, exponentially beyond the capacity of the next civilization to us. Those, ladies and gentlemen, in 732, Charles Martel led a force against the Moors in near Tours in southern France, and he won. Charles Martel stopped the Moors so decisively that it took them another 500 years to mount a successful invasion into the heart of Europe, where it was stopped again in 1529 at the gates of Vienna. An interesting aspect of that was that the majority of the people who fought at Tours on the side of the Europeans were volunteers. It is my earnest desire to urge you to volunteer, to set aside your differences with one another, and to find the common denominator and to act in still unison.